Hi guys, I'm David with Media Unlocked, and today we're going to be talking about the GoPro Hero 8. We're going to be doing a full walkthrough on it. In the first part, we're going to be talking about the exterior of the device itself, and we're going to be going over the time-lapse settings and how to use your time-lapse. So guys, let's jump right into it. Follow along. Hi guys, I'm David with Media Unlocked, and today we're going to be taking a look at the GoPro Hero 8 Black and kind of going over all the functions and settings and how to set everything up and how to use the camera. We're going to make it as easy as possible so you don't have to use the manual any longer. So let's dive right into it. We're going to look at the external of the camera to start off with. So if you notice, you have a screen here, your camera is here. One of the cool things they've added to the Black 8 version is this little piece here. So instead of having this always out like this, you can now flip it in when it's not connected to anything, which I really like. Being able to do that is awesome. Over here to the side, you have this little button here. You push this down and then you pull this up. This is the waterproof capsule. It also will pop off if you want to. So it pops on and off, and it just, right there, it just sticks right back in. So again, you can pop this piece off, you pull all the way back, which is really nice. Of course, your battery goes here. Inside is a USB-C, and then if you guys look right here, this is where your memory card goes as well. I believe your serial number is right underneath your memory card right here. So what we'll do is we'll pop the battery back in, and we will pop this piece back on. It just refastens here. You push down, and then you just want to push this tab back in, and now it is locked back into place. Over on this side is your mode button. This is how you're going to switch your modes and turn your camera on. And then up at the top, as you can see, this is your record button. There is a setting where you can actually hit the record button, the camera will come on and start recording right off the bat. And of course, you've got your touch screen right here on the back. So this is the exterior of the GoPro Hero 8 Black. Now that we've gone on the outside of the GoPro Hero 8, let's go on and turn it on. Again, your mode button is over here to the left, I guess my right. So we'll go on and turn this on, and then it will give you some information on this screen. However, you're probably not going to use the screen too often. You're going to want to be behind looking at the actual screen on the back. But I just wanted to show you that you do get some information right here. So let's just go on and flip it on over here to the back, and then let's talk about. There we go. It will actually flip, so if you notice, your settings will flip depending on the orientation of your camera, which is really cool. So we'll start off with, and there's the orientation, so let's get this orientation flipped back to, there we go, okay. So we'll actually start with time-lapse all the way over here. You have three functions, as you guys notice, and that is, you can actually slide, so video, time-lapse, and you can just slide. So the touchscreen is very accurate and intuitive. It's fantastic. If you want to look at any of your clips, all of your media will be there. So again, just slide down and you can look at your clips. So let's talk a little bit about time-lapse. So we'll slide back up. So we can hit this time-lapse button right here. This is going to take us into the settings. Also, we can hit this to zoom in and out. So if you want a much tighter shot up to 2x, guess what? You can do that. Now I believe that is digital, so it does beat up on the quality a little bit. If it was optical, that means that the lens inside the actual camera itself would be moving back and forth, and it wouldn't be pretty much software doing the zooming in and out, but I believe for these it is digital. You can also hit this and figure out how wide you want to be. So I can be like a 19 to as you can see, 19 to 39, or slide all the way up to like a 16 to 34. So let's go into the actual time-lapse settings. We'll hit this. You have a bunch of settings here. Night time-lapse, regular time-lapse, time warp, and they're all amazing. You can go in and edit them. You can even make a custom setting. So if there's a specific setting that you like to use, you can go in and actually make a custom one that's made just for a specific type of time lapse that you do, which I think is really cool that they allow you to have your own preset custom settings. And they do this for both photo and video mode, which is fantastic. But we're just going to go into one of these. They're all pretty much going to be the same. So we're going to go into setting up a custom one. And we're just going to talk about all the settings that they give you. So you have 4 different modes. And the really cool thing is, if you notice, you have night time lapse, you have just regular time lapse, and then you have time warp. And if you notice, it says speed up and slow down time by capturing stabilized time-lapse video while you're on the move, which I think is really cool. So again, let's just say I want to do night time-lapse, right? So I'm going to hit this, and I'm going to pick night time-lapse, okay. So we're going to do night time-lapse. You can actually pick the lens, so we can make it really narrow, we can make it linear, or we can make it wide. Since I'm going to be shooting the stars at night, I'm going to go wide here. Your intervals. So how often do you want to take a picture? Again, you could make this customized for just a regular time lapse and or the hyperlapse pretty much. So what do you want your intervals to be? I'm going to let you know right now. Your intervals probably need to be right at 30 seconds, because my guess is how this GoPro will work is it will take the picture. So it's how often does your camera take a photo, right? So you want 30 seconds to 45 seconds. You could do a minute, a full minute, but think about this. You get 60 frames per hour, right? So if you do 1 minute at a time, you get 60 frames per hour. It takes 24 frames to make 1 second of film. So every hour, you're getting roughly, right under 2.2 seconds of footage. So you're gonna have to shoot, overnight. Let's say it gets dark at 10 and it starts getting light at 6. That gives you 8 hours. So you're only gonna get about 30 or 45 seconds of footage, just to let you know. So if you do something like 30 seconds, you are gonna need longer if you do like 10 seconds or 5 seconds. Again, I believe the GoPros will actually keep the time in between each shot, because if you set it to 5 seconds, it's not going to have this shutter open long enough to actually get a good picture of the stars. You need at least anywhere from 20 to 30 seconds of actual exposure time for the stars to actually look nice and crisp, or it will just be too dark. Anyways, moving on. So we'll just say we want to do a minute. And again, if you're doing just regular time lapse, and let's say you're doing like a sunset or something, you want to be between 3 and 5 seconds for that, just to let you know. Format photo, of course. Output, we'll go into the output. So you have RAW. Of course, we want the output to be RAW, or non-RAW if you don't want that, but I want that. Auto shutter. So it will automatically set your shutter. This is what we were talking about. But I know I want my shutter at 30 seconds. So again, I could set this to, let's say, and you can go all the way up to 60-minute intervals right here, or just auto. And actually, I'm going to leave this on auto, and just that way I have control over the shutter of how often the picture's being taken. That's every 30 seconds. That means it's opening up the shutter long enough to expose it and get the photo. No zoom, we don't have that option. Now, ProTune. Now, ProTunes is something we're going to talk about for all the settings for video and photo. What ProTunes is mainly your manual settings. It allows you to have full control over your camera for the most part and set the settings that you want. So like I know for night mode, I want to be around 32K. So right here, for night mode, I know I want to be right around 32K. ISO minimum. I'm probably going to bring the ISO up to about 400. The ISO on these are not the best, so I would not bring it up probably above 800, due to the fact that if you go above 800, you start to lose quality, right? However, I'm going to set this to max at 1600 just in case I happen to need to go there. Sometimes it is better to have bad quality video than not get the shot at all. Sharpness. Now, here's something that a lot of people like to leave the sharpness at high. However, I'm a big fan of leaving the sharpness right at low because I actually want to add in the sharpness in post later on. I actually want to do my own sharpness editing. So therefore I leave it low and I can kind of control how sharp I want, because what the GoPro does is excellent. However, I personally think that I do a better job of going in with my tools in Photoshop and Capture One and getting a more sharper image. So you have your color options. You have GoPro and you have flat. Again, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna set it to flat for the simple fact that I have more control in post, therefore allowing me to really have control over the edit. So that's very important to me. Now you do have on-screen shortcuts, and so you can set those up if you want and where they're at. If you have any type of stuff, they'll be in those corners. So just to show you guys that. Now, that is a custom setting. So we'll hit the check mark, and we can name it. And let's say I want to name it, there's no, so let's just say it's out, I'm doing it, it's a travel. We'll say I'm traveling, and we'll say, we'll see what the option, travel, maybe we'll make this my night sky, and hit that. And so this is my travel custom night setup that I could actually go. And the settings I just set are settings that you guys could actually really take those exact settings and go shoot with your GoPro right now. So not only am I kind of showing you how to set them up and how they work, but those are actual settings that if you want to go shoot some night photography, some time lapse, use the settings I just set up. They should work pretty well. I'd love to hear back from anybody that did do it, and we can mess around with those a little bit more if need be, you know, if they did not work perfectly for you. But so there you go, I have my custom setting right there, and it's under travel. So that's pretty awesome. Well guys, thanks for stopping in and watching these GoPro Hero 8 walkthrough videos. Hopefully they were very beneficial for you. As always, there'll be a link to your guys' right, my left, where you can open it up, see the other parts, and as well, purchase the product right here, the GoPro Hero 8. It does help us keep going. As always guys, create better, and I'll catch you next time. Let's go! Well guys, you made it to the end of the video. Of course, if you want to check out the product, it does help us out a little bit. Go on and click down in that general direction. If there's any other videos that you guys want us to make that you're interested in watching, leave us a comment down below. We'll do our best. And as always guys, create better.